we're going to swatch my 6th Giorgio Armani Lip Maestro shades, and I have only owned one shade up until pretty much this month because I bought a bunch of Giorgio Armani products over Black Friday. They were doing this really great deal to gift out free full-size Lip Maestros, so I got a bunch and I figured let's just swatch them. The first shade is 109. It is a really beautiful kind of mauvey pink shade that is going to be great for every day. Beautiful. It almost has a little bit of a corally tint to it. What I love about Lip Maestros is there's really pigmented, really smooth, like feels like velvet, but they also last all day and they do not dry out your lips. I also like to just dab off the shiny bit on top so that it gives off a more matte look. So you can go for slightly velvety, smooth shine, or you can just go for a more matted look if you dab it out. You can also just use your finger to apply a tiny amount to get an even more kind of muted and neutral look. On to the next one, we have the shade 102, and this looks more of a pinkish shade. Let us see. Oh, actually it has more of a almost like a brownish mauve pink to it. It's almost like a neutral brown shade on my lip, and I've never owned any lip product in this particular shade. I do think it suits me and it'll be really great to pair this with like a really cozy winter outfit, and also really easy to remove. Moving on to the next shade, which is 200, which I believe is a really popular iconic shade from the Lip Maestro line. Can you tell I'm not a beauty YouTuber? Because clearly I already messed up. Okay, it definitely looks more red than the previous shade. I think the 102 has more of a brown undertone, and this one has a brick red type of shade to it. Between the two, I would say go for the 200 if you are similar to my skin tone. It just looks a little bit more flattering. It almost reminds me of the fall foliage. This would be such a beautiful fall shade as well. Moving on to this almost orangey looking one. It is in the shade 208. Yep, definitely more of an orangey shade, and I do feel like the shades on my arm versus on my lips are not super consistent, so I am of course going to swatch it on my lips for you. Oh yeah, this is the foliage shade, like perfect for fall. I already know it. It is the perfect orangey shade. It's like not neon orange that is really hard to basically style, but it is definitely more orange than your typical coral neutrals. So I love this. I think this shade might be my favorite so far. I feel like all of these different shades feel like the exact same consistency on my lips, which I know is not the case with certain other brands, so I love that. They're very consistent, and I apologize that I've basically been removing makeup around my mouth. Clearly I'm not a beauty YouTuber, but you'll have to bear with me. We have 2 more shades to go through. This next one is 205. It is definitely a more orangey shade. Yep, it almost looks like an orangey red shade. So let's see what it looks on my lip. I love this shade as well. This is actually a really great Christmassy or just like night out shade. I love a corally red, and this definitely is kind of the color in between a coral and a red, and I feel like this is just really great shade for going out in the colder months. You can even rock it in the warmer months too. The last shade is a shade that I already own and absolutely love, which is 405. So this is definitely more of a red shade but with coral tone to it. really on my arms, it looks really similar to 205. It is definitely more red, but also very clearly has a coral tone to it. Actually, even on my lips, I feel like this is quite similar to 205. So in between the two, you probably don't need both. And this is my all-time favorite kind of going out shade. I just really love using this particular shade when I go to an event or just want to feel more glammed up, because it just stays all day, so I don't have to worry about reapplying. I don't even bring the product with me because I know the color really lasts and it feels really comfortable. These are all of the shades swatched on my arm, and I would say out of these shades, my favorite is probably still 405, which is the one that I am wearing, that I own the longest. But I also really like these initial couple of shades that are just perfect for every day. So I hope you enjoyed this little beauty segment of today's Advent with Audrey. How satisfying is this to remove the lip swatches on my arm?